Goodbye, Mr. Grader. Take care. Good evening, young man.
There's no need to call me that, Dr. Reed.
Are you feeling worried about the sanitary situation in London?
This city is falling apart. The disease kills so many people. No one cares about anything or anyone anymore but themselves.
Goodbye. Good evening, Miss Gillingham. May I come in?
Of course, of course. So, Dr. Tippets, what brings you back here? We haven't talked in quite some time.
Are you worried about the sanitation crisis in London?
Too much noise, too much shouting. It keeps me up. Is it really gunfire I'm hearing?
Goodbye, Miss Gillingham.
You again? What do you want?
Do you have recent news of Hampton Shelter?
The place is all right, I suppose. The sad saint is still the same. Except for that awful skin disease he recently got.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
Chaos is rising, Dr. Reed. This city is about to crumble.
You almost sound happy.
This world needs to die, Dr. Reed. And from the ashes, a new one will emerge, with more equity and freedom.
Well, I'll leave you for now. Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
Glad to see you again, Mr. Reed.
Do you have recent news of Hampton Shelter? Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
There are rumors of infected people turned mad by the fever and roaming the streets, attacking everyone they see. Is it true?
As long as you stay away from the streets, you should be all right.
I hope you're right, Dr. Reed. We feel kind of left alone around here.
Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
Yes, Doctor?
Farewell, Sean. Take good care of your flock, and of yourself.
best stay back, sir.
I can't pretend.
Good evening, Mr. Throgmorton.
Dr. Reed, can I be of any assistance? Have you noticed anything suspicious lately?
Have you heard any rumors regarding Sean Hampton's shelter?
The sad saint will always be a target for vampires, but I'm keeping an eye out.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
It seems the Guard of Priwen has declared war on vampires. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though.
Really? I thought you'd be thrilled by this news.
The Guard can be reckless. They rush into a fight without thinking. The citizens of London should not be the collateral victims.
Goodbye, and good hunting, Mr. Throgmorton.
The wet boots shouldn't be fighting each other. They've got bigger problems elsewhere.
Everyone's throwing the blame.
Good evening, Miss Cox.
Hello again, Dr. Reed. What do you want?
Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
The bodies are piling up, but I'm not afraid. I'm still alive, and I intend to stay that way.
Goodbye, Miss Cox.
I must look a fool. Heartens me to know you can't see you again. What do you want?
Perhaps we should have listened to what the idiot had to say first.
Are you worried about the conditions in London?
I've heard rumours about some sort of militia patrolling, killing the sick. The wet boot boys are overrun.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby. Evening, Rufus.
Evening, Mr. Reed.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation?
I never really felt safe in this town anyway. Now's the first time that everyone seems to feel the same way as me.
Is anything worrying you right now?
Gunshots? I hear them every night. Who's firing? Who are they shooting at? That's what's scary.
So long, Rufus. Be careful. Take care.
The sewer dog's fault, they say. Then the gangs, the epidemics, everyone's throwing the blame. pleasure, sir. Been a while since we've seen any new faces round here.
Over there! There's one of them vermin!
Hello again, Mr. Blight.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. You doing your rounds as usual?
Do you need medical attention, sir?
Afraid so. In the war, I was always worried about picking up something, getting some infection. Unfortunately, got that fear in London now.
Throughout
Your work...
Are you concerned about the living conditions in the city?
Of course I am. I'll be stuck here for as long as Oswald refuses to go to hospital. And, unfortunately, it seems the violence is rising.
What kind of violence?
I believe people have armed themselves and started to attack those that show signs of contagion.
You and Oswald were buried alive during the war. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It was last summer. A shell hit our trench and we were buried for a week.
Oswald seemed far more traumatized than you by the event.
It wasn't the first time it happened to me. And surviving it again gave me strength. You believe that?
How did you survive for a week?
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost, see? Since then, Oswald's not keen on being inside for too long.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself. Good evening.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Are you concerned about the conditions here in London?
Not really. Sick people, men in arms, fighting every night. I already faced all this during the war.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take care of yourself. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require medical assistance, Nurse?
I will be fine, as soon as I can get some sleep.
Nurse.
I'll
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Goodbye, Milton.
Pembroke is still standing after this
Good evening,
epidemic.
Dr. Tibbets.
There's good reason to be...
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical help yourself, Nurse?
I'm afraid I've contracted some illness, Dr. Reed.
Not under my watch, Nurse. Take this. You'll feel better.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
A giant morgue disguised as a...
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you doing?
Not well. Eternity can be such a burden. Did you know that Thomas is dead?
Mr. Elwood? Yes, I know about his death.
His blood now runs through this decaying body. I see things much more clearly now. I've even started to sense things about you.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Good evening, sir. Doctor. I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Never could keep anything from her.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me...
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Yes, Jonathan. Can I help you?
Thank you, Edgar.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Do you need medical attention?
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company, even if the quiet can be appreciated.
Don't
end that.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Spotted! Watch out, boys! It's eight! Kill it! Bruce the lead! We have to stop it! Want some of this? Die, bird! You're dead for this, youngling fucker! All of you bloody leeches need
Stupid or something.
Welcome back, Doctor. What can I do for you?
Do you need any help?
Can't be good for business to see the bartender cough in your beer.
Goodbye, Mr. Watts.
I should just run as far away from this. You still working at this hour?
Perhaps I should shut.
That's what I call dedication.
Do you require medical assistance, Miss Cavendish?
Don't feel so good if you have to know. I knew that keeping the bar open with the epidemic wasn't a good idea.
Take this. Goodbye, Miss Cavendish.
He's just. Lost orphan.
Are they stupid or something? I've never even been to India.
Times like these, a good drink's just as likely to cause a problem as to solve one.
You must prepare, child, for the earth is bleeding and the harvest is upon us.
Stay away! Whoever you are!
This is no time for petty quarrels, my champion. Can you not hear? The famished queen has awoken.
I am not your champion.
But of course you are, son. As surely as you are the blood of my blood.
I had to kill Mary.
I have known your pain, child. Do not succumb to...
Silence! I dismiss you, now!
The land calls for a champion. All and everyone needs you.
Silence!
I'm tired of all these puppet shows.
Trust the leech, boys! I hate leeches!
It's locked, all right.
Die, beast!
They want war. I'll show them war.
Whatever this poor woman did, nobody deserves this kind of punishment.
water, boys!
We have a killer!
The power!
Good evening, my dear colleague.
You look ill, Miss Swanborough. I wonder if your concoction will do the trick.
I have no doubt it will. But I'm not against a second opinion, Dr. Reed.
Well,
thank you.
How is the sanitary situation evolving in Whitechapel these days?
When people buy guns instead of medication, it means they have already traded hope for fear in their hearts. In my book, that's never a good thing, Doctor.
Loretta, why do you feel so guilty about your brother?
I don't expect him to forgive me. All I can do is make amends for what I did.
By making him a crook and a criminal. What if somebody decides to make him pay for your scam?
Mason is totally capable of defending himself. Just leave us be. We're perfectly fine.
Don't you think he needs to be somewhere he can receive appropriate medical care?
Mason wants to be useful, can you understand that? And chemistry is his passion, and the Swanborough cordial gives him a purpose in life.
Goodbye, Miss Swanborough. Perhaps we'll talk again.